Day 10, Crack the Technical Business Analyst Interview. So, welcome to day 10. You made it the final day of our Banking Technical Business Analyst series. Today, we are going to make you interview ready. So, we'll cover the most common skills employers are asked for. Uh, Prepare for 2 rounds of interviews, walk through a sample resume, and finish with mock interviews practice. So if you ever wanted to land a business system analyst or technical BA role, this is your roadmap. Let's go. So what companies are looking for? So when you apply for a technical business analyst or business system analyst role, employees want someone who can speak both business and technology. Let's break down the top skills that appear in almost every job posting. Okay, so the core skills are um, requirement gathering and documentation. Okay, process, let's say business process mapping, functional and non-functional requirement, data mapping and analysis, API API understanding, the API and integration. I'll use the word integration. Okay, integration, understanding, Jira and Confluence, SQL. I would not say SQL, basic SQL, or data querying, basic. Basics, Agile and Scrum knowledge, communication and stakeholder management, and in addition to that, banking or financial domain understanding. Okay, so these are the main skills, core skills companies are looking for BSA role. Okay, so you are aware there are two type of interviews. The first round interview is typically by HR or like junior business analyst manager, just to understand your background. Okay, so let's talk about the first round. Their goal is to check your fundamental and communication clarity. So here are the common first round questions and how you should answer them. So like role of BA in Agile, how do you get the requirements, and what is the user story, what tools you have used, functional versus non-functional, something like that. Okay, so let's document everything. I'm gonna insert. Okay, I'll keep this one. What is your understanding of the BA role in Agile project? Okay, so these are pretty basic questions. Okay, so let's answer this one. Let me write answer. So you know the BA bridge. Let's write while I'm speaking the BA bridges business and technical teams, ensuring requirements are clearly defined. Okay, don't worry about the typo, I can autocorrect. Defined, prioritized, and deliver through user stories and acceptance criteria. Okay, so you can come up with different answer, but basically your understanding is you need to write user story um, for by capturing business requirement. So you speak to both side, technical and the business side. Okay, so that's the main role main job description as a BA. Okay, so I'll duplicate the slide and go to the second question here. Let's write the second question. Okay, how do you gather requirement? So now you identified who is BA. Next question, the gathering requirement. It's a famous question, popular question. Okay, so let's write this one. Okay, answer through stakeholder interviews. Okay, so these are the first round they will check. Okay, workshops. How do you gather requirement? Technically, you just need to talk with some example, document analysis, and observing current process. Okay, so if you're a first time, if you are preparing, so if you don't have any experience, this one, right? So you can practice. I'll create a separate series for as a beginner, how you can practice requirement gathering as a beginner. Okay, so the next one, question number 3, I'll duplicate again. Question number 3, keep the answer here. What is a user story? Pretty basic. Okay, so user story, short, simple description of a feature told from the user's perspective as a customer. Example. Okay, I want to apply for a loan. You can give example loan so that I can receive funds quickly or something like that. Okay, so here they're asking, what is a user story? A user story, a short, simple description of a feature told from the user perspective. This is the example. And question number 4, let's duplicate this one. What tools you have used? Okay. What tools have you used? Okay. So you need tools for capturing the current state uh, and especially the diagram, right? So let's document this one. Answer Jira for sure, writing user story for user stories, and Confluence for documentation, and Excel or Lucidchart for or Draw.io, any tool, okay, for the process mapping, okay. So very important, process mapping, user stories, and Confluence, okay. So you can mention any tools. Last question, fifth question. Let me document the fifth question as well. What is the difference between functional and non-functional requirements? So these are typical questions. We covered our session as well, but I'll just mention quickly. What is the difference between functional and non-functional requirements? Okay. Functional requirements describe what the system should do, right? These are the functional requirements. Non-functional requirement describe how it performs. You can give like performance, security, or usability. Okay, so these are can be. So let's go back to our questions, final round questions. So we start with who is BA. So you can answer BA is bridge between technical and business team. So second one, how do you execute your job? Like mainly your job is requirement gathering, right? So you can explain how do you gather requirements. And third question is how do you document your requirements? So using a user story, right? Fourth question, to work, what tools you use. So you capture your current state and documentation. Current state, the process mapping, you will use any the VCO or any free tool, whatever the diagramming tool you use, or Excel if you don't have anything, and documentation, Confluence, and writing user story, Jira. Okay. Next one, what is the difference between non-functional and functional requirements? So this is a typical question. If you don't know how to explain, maybe I would recommend you to memorize at least. So functional requirement describe what's the system do, non-functional requirement describe how it performs. Okay, example is given. Next, okay. So we are done with the first round of interview questions. So now let's go through the final round interview questions. Okay. So in the final round, you will meet senior BAs, architects, or hiring managers, some technical folks. Okay. So make sure um, if you work with APIs, microservice, you have to tell specific examples because the people who taking the interview, they know what you are exactly talking about. Okay, so make sure you have specific examples. So question can be asked like API related, microservice related, system related, performance, non-functional requirement, and data mapping, data consistency, and these kind of thing, and handle UAT bugs. Okay, so let's draft some scenarios, and I'll take it from there. Okay, so I'll duplicate here, I'll delete this one. Question number one, like these are scenario based questions. You can answer using our star method. Okay, remember the every end of lesson I try to give you 5 questions, so use the same format to answer these final round questions. So the first scenario, they can tell you, so they're giving a scenario. Okay, so discover that the API, so all we are discussing whatever we discussed through our lessons. Okay, response from, so you can go back to that particular video and you can watch the section and can gain this knowledge. Vendor is missing O key field required for credit validation. Okay, so this is the scenario. What would you do? Okay, so this is the question. So scenario, let me read it scenario again. You discover that API response from the vendor is missing. O key field required or credit validation. Something in the API documentation, a field is missing. So the integration is not successful because of that, right? So what would you do, right? So let's try to answer this question. Very important question. This type of question. Uh, I'll do log a change request because this is critical. Validate the business impact, right? And collaborate with the vendor and dev team to add the missing field immediately, right? Updating, mapping, and documentation. Got it right? So sometimes question kind of negative questions just to test your how do you handle the scenario. So you have to answer best of your knowledge with positive statement. Okay, so you cannot pretend okay there was no bug, I'm perfect when I'm capturing requirement. So you can just share your knowledge, right? So project management or like software development, um, it's learned from experience. So you can share whatever experience you had. So we are not looking for any perfect person. Can you learn from your project, right? So you can answer best of your knowledge from your best of your knowledge. Okay. So the question number two, scenario. Second scenario, the system is slow during loan submission. We discuss all scenarios during our training session. Okay, so you can go back to that video and you can watch to investigate. So the system is slow during the loan submission. How would you investigate this one? So answer, check none. So please make sure you always there is question about functional and non-functional requirement. Okay, so I would check non-functional requirements, review backend logs, and API response times and database with the dev team. Okay, understand the question, right? So the system is slow. What you will do? So you check, is there any non-functional requirement, right? Like within second, how many seconds this should load. Check first that, then talk to the developers immediately to get rectify this. Okay. So next question number 3, which is scenario number 3. How do you ensure the data consistency across system? This is expected question, right? Remember our front end, back end, and the database, how we map the data, right? Let's write this one. By maintaining clear data mapping documents. Okay, always create a table, validating through integration and UAT testing. Okay. This is the scenario, this is the answer. Okay. Okay, last question number 5. Let's duplicate this one. Scenario number 5. What else? Okay, critical bug appears on production during UAT sign off. What is your first action? So remember, this is backtracking, right? So what we discussed first, we want to make sure if it is actually a valid bug. Okay, so reproduce the issue first. So you'll come to know whether it's a bug or not. It in Jira with steps and severity, and coordinate triage with QA and development. Okay, so let me go through the final round question again. The first scenario, so you discovered the field is missing. How do you fix that one, right? So missing field should be fixed immediately as per the requirement and sent to the production SAP. Okay, that's the first question. Second scenario, system is down. So this is related non-functional requirement. So check the requirement and see if something is missing. Okay, that's the second one. Third one, how do you handle the data consistency, right? So create the table. What is the front end sending? What is the back end should API should for the API what we should feed, for the database what we should send from the API, right? So that's fourth question. Did we talk about? Okay, we talked about this one. Three. I think this is four. Can have one more question. Let's discuss. So how do you make when bug appears? The first step you need to reproduce and see if it is a valid bug or not. Okay. One more scenario we can include. How do you prioritize backlog items when multiple stakeholders are involved? Okay, so answer is use business value. Okay, and technical feasibility. You can find out from your team. Okay, so if you're worrying how to find out, your tech lead or senior developer can help. Resolve conflict through sprint planning and PBR discussions. Okay, all right. Okay, now let's go and prepare a sample resume. Okay, sample resume. I'll make it a little bigger so that you can see. Okay, so let's say you don't have any experience. Okay, so you can write business Let's write the description of professional summary, detail oriented business analyst with strong understanding We can correct the grammar. Understanding of requirement requirements gathering, user stories, and system integration in banking applications. Okay, that's it. Everything corrected. Okay. What else we can write? We can write maybe Jira skilled in Jira Confluence and SQL with hands-on experience in. So we are like writing this for a beginner. Okay. Delivery and vendor integration. Okay, so you can watch the video again and you can come back to this sentence, see if this makes sense to you. Okay, perfect. Okay, now core competencies. Let's add bullet requirement requirement gathering. I think we have somewhere can copy paste instead of typing. Okay, we copy paste everything. So next one is if you don't have project experience, how do you get the project experience? Let's write first and discuss. Uh, so you can use this simulation project online loan application system banking domain. You can write collected business requirements for loan registration, credit check, all the features you can give, integration and approved. And approval workflow. Okay, sorry, I missed that. Okay, so that's one point. And what else? Write the main idea, documented user stories and an acceptance criteria in Jira. So Jira is free for you can practice. We have 10 days all the recording. So just start from the beginning and you can put it if you have any questions connect with me in the LinkedIn or just write in the chat so I will watch I'll reply to you. Okay, perform UAT testing and tracked effects through Jira. Important, you need to practice. There is no secret formula. If you do one project and you will understand all the concept, but it's okay. You can watch our video and practice. And education and certification. We can, I assume you have a bachelor's in business or commerce, okay, IT, engineering, anything, okay. And if you have certification, so certification is not required, but simply if you are wondering, like pretty basic, anything free you can take, okay. Fundamentals, agile fundamentals, anything free, don't pay money, anything free courses you can take to learn agile, okay. There are, if you have access to LinkedIn from your college, and there are so many free courses available, you can get access and get a certification, okay. Okay, that's all about our resume. For the beginner, you can add your personal detail, okay, top of this one. Now I'll give one exercise for you. You can put it in the comment, okay. You can write the answer, you can put it in the comment, and let me go to okay. So this is what you can do. So practice exercise, describe a project you improved, handle conflicting requirements, walk through a user story you wrote, okay. So to do this one, uh, you can connect with me LinkedIn and you can provide me your answer, or just put it in the chat, so that as a community we can learn from each other. I will reply each of you, okay. So this is, and also you can practice with a friend or classmate or partner or mentor or anyone at home, and or like if you can access free, so give these three questions and you prepare answer for these questions and provide them the answer and ask them to ask this question, okay. So if you can record it and listen, that would be great, okay. So that you can improve more, okay. Oh, yeah, so you can put it in the chat. um, we can practice together as a community. Okay, so that's a mock interview you can do. What else? LinkedIn. LinkedIn also you can update like same business and banking. Focus this one, highlight the skills you learn and the tools similar to our resume. Okay. All right. So we have reached the 10-day training successfully. So you completed the 10-day banking business technical business analyst course. So in these 10 days we went from zero to practical, right? So we start with front end and we learn the middle layer and the APIs, and then we learn microservices still back end. Then we learn vendor integration, then data mapping and non-functional requirements. So bug tracking. So we learn so many stuff, right? So uh, and how to write user stories, how to estimate those one. Okay, so finally, every module I try to include some questions, interview questions. So please take a look. Those are very important questions. And again, I have a request for you guys. So if you find this series useful, hit that like button and subscribe for more content. And if you feel this is useful for another BA or like a new student who wants to become a business analyst, so please do share this one, and your support help us reach more future business analysts like you. So, and remember, every top business analyst started as a beginner. So even me, I don't have any idea what is business analysis. So everyone, so I understand there are so many questions going on in your mind. So we are with you. So we are building a biggest business analyst online community. So connect with us. So don't worry. Thank you. Thank you very much again, all of you supporting me and learning with me together. Again, I have to remind you, every top business analyst started as a beginner, just like you. Now it's your turn to lead the project. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.